Welcome to the Success Sculpting Show with Stephen Pierce, bringing you the right information right now to sculpt a more meaningful and memorable life of success. Join us each week to discover gems to help you grow your mental toughness, expand your will to win, and multiply your results. It's never been easier to learn what to do and how to do it to succeed at what you choose to do. This is truly an experience you won't find anywhere else. Now, here's your host, the success sculptor himself, Stephen Pierce.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Success Sculpting Show. I'm your host, you know who, Stephen Pierce, and today we're going to be talking about how to get ahead when you feel like you're falling behind. Let me ask you, do you feel like you're falling behind in your health goals, your financial goals, your family and relationship goals, or whatever those objectives and ambitions are? See, one of the things that can really get us down is when we have this wrestling match that is us wrestling with where we are versus where we want to be. Right now, in the previous podcast, I talked about intentions, so look, you didn't intend to be where it is you are. You intended to be someplace else. Something happened and you're not where you want to be. Well, here's the thing. We don't want to waste energy arguing with or resisting the reality of the situation. See, a lot of us, we find ourselves in these situations and we default to two of the most horrible strategies you can ever use to change the situation. One is complaining, right? Now, when a person complains, a lot of times that's just a release of frustration. They're not complaining because they're really looking to change it, although they may not like it, because it's what we do about it that really shows if we really want to change the situation. But stick with me here, because I'm going to give you some things to think about on how to actually get ahead if you feel like you're falling behind. But what we need to first look at is what's really not working. So complaining about it does not change the situation. Hey, after you finish doing all the complaining, the situation is still the same. And another one is hoping. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm all about having hope. Hope is good, but hope that is not packaged with vision, with discipline, with action, turns to despair and hopelessness. And a lot of people's hope is really hoping someone's going to come and rescue them. And many of the people that you want to come rescue you are waiting for somebody to come and rescue them. It's not about, hey, I want somebody to come and rescue me. Listen, there's nothing wrong with someone helping you, but what you have to realize, and what I have to realize, and what we all have to realize, is the rescue squad ain't going to come kick your door in and come and save the day, right? There ain't no superhero about to fly through your window and bail you out of whatever your situation is. You got to bail yourself out, right? So how do we do that, though? What can we do when we feel like we're falling behind? How can we get ahead? Well, obviously, it starts with shifting the way we're looking at the entire situation. The entire change process is going to begin with what I consider to be the center of gravity of your life, which is your mind, which is how you use your thoughts, what you focus on, how you use your imagination, how you use your memory. I'm not going to go deep into that, but what I do want to give you are some ideas to help point your mind in a certain direction. So I want you to write these down, all right? Because to me, they have been extremely powerful in my life. And if I can go back 20 years, maybe even 30 years and tell a younger version of myself something, these are some of the things that I would tell myself, because it would have helped me to get through a lot of things, avoid a lot of certain things. And at the times in my life when I was falling behind, or I fell way behind, or hit rock bottom, I think it would have been a lot easier to bounce back. So the first thought about becoming successful and bouncing back and getting ahead when you feel as if you're falling behind, I want you to write this down, and I want you to think about it and think about the implications of this and what it means for your life. And number one, success is not about how good you are. It's about how good you want to be. I'm going to say that again. Success is not about how good you are. It's about how good you want to be. I call that having an inspirational dissatisfaction, where you can appreciate how good you may be at something, but you're not satisfied with it because you know you can expand, you can grow, you can multiply, and that inspires you. It's not being having regret of where it is you are, and it's not having a lack of gratitude or of appreciation, but it's knowing that where you are is not as far as you can go. What you can give is not the max that you can give. What you can become, you have yet to fully realize. You're still in this transitional period, going from one level of growth to another. However, if all we focus on is how good we are, life is going to pass us by. The competition, and we live in a world of competition. You don't have to be a professional athlete to understand that you are competing. You're competing every single day. Every single day. And how good we are is not necessarily going to be enough. And what happens is many of us become so blinded by who we are, we're not able to see who we can ultimately become. And that happens for us as individuals, and also happens for companies. If you think about a lot of companies that are no longer around, huge companies that used to dominate their industries, think about Blockbuster. Blockbuster was awesome at what they wore and who they were at that time, but they never considered how good they could really be. And that's when Redbox came in and kicked them in the teeth, right? And that's when streaming media came in and kicked them in the nutsack. Okay, I'm gonna keep this PG, but you understand what I'm saying. Kick them right between the legs. Oh, and then they tried to play catch up. And the one thing you don't want to be, ladies and gentlemen, is a condiment. And what I mean is catch up. You don't want to be playing catch up, right? That's not what you want to. That's not what you want to do. We want to have enough foresight, enough insight, enough hindsight, and enough top sight. That means we have 360 degrees of vision of what's going on around us, that we are keeping in step or staying ahead of the curve, not finding ourselves always behind it where we're playing catch up. But again, I don't need to drop a whole bunch of different companies and different industries on you, but you can think about a lot of different companies. Think about Barnes and Nobles, right? Do they still exist? Yeah, but they don't dominate book selling. We know Amazon does that. Think, what happened to Pan American Airlines? Some of you, depending on how old you are, you're probably like, what's that? Or Wayne Computers. It's like, what is a Wayne computer? Right? Or think about some of the old big box stores, Sears, JCPenney's, Montgomery Ward's, and companies like that. Listen, were they awesome at their time? Yeah, but they become blinded by that current success and not paying attention to how different things are changing. And they were really, celebrating how good they were. And they did not realize that they needed to understand and focus on how good they want it to be. And that is related to what is changing in your environment. What's changing in our environment. When we look at how good we want to be, we need to take into consideration the different changes. There's economic changes, there's social changes, there's political changes, there's technology changes. There's all these different things that will put pressure on us to improve, or it's going to crush us. So there's one of those things that we can do when that pressure starts to come on us, because complaining about it is not going to do anything. It's not going to make the changes go away. And hoping and wishing away the changes, that's not going to happen either. So remember, number one is success is not about how good you are. It's about how good you want to be. Being dissatisfied and inspired to constantly improve. Constantly improve yourself at whatever your craft is. Whatever it is you're seeking to do, be, become. You're looking at, how do I get better? How do I get better at this? You know what? I may be good. I may be great. I may be excellent. I may be awesome. I may be extraordinary today, but that's still not enough. Just this next level that I'm seeking for. I'm just a pilgrim here at this level of performance because I'm seeking that higher level. I'm seeking that other land. I'm seeking that other place where now I expand even bigger and greater who I am. And as a result, my expansion goes into my contribution to the people that I care about and the people that I want to reach. Number two, success is not being better than them. It's about being better than I was yesterday. That's about continued personal progress. And let me say that again. Success is not about being better than them, whoever them may be. It's about being better than I was yesterday. Because see, here's the thing. Let's just say I'm an athlete and I play sports. Let's just say I play tennis. I can play someone who has far inferior skills to me, and I can beat the crap out of them on the tennis court. I was better than them. But that does not mean that I was my best that day. Sometimes your best can totally destroy someone that has not developed the skills yet. So if you're using other people as a rule of measure of how good you are, you're going to forever be lost. Because no mere mortal here is set up as a ruler by which we're supposed to be measuring our life by. We tend to do it because we tend to have this pressure from the social environment itself to compare ourselves financially, materially, socially, physically to other people. And then we aspire to be like these people, losing our own identity and losing ourselves and losing who we really are in that entire process. Now, don't get me wrong. If you're competing, do you want to beat the competitor, whether you're at boxing, MMA, basketball, football, soccer, tennis, you name it, whatever the sport is? Yes. But the way for me to beat the competition is not focused on how can I be better than them. It's how can I be my absolute best in this competitive moment? Because see, here's the thing. Here's the thing. If I'm running a race, let's just say I'm running a sprint, and I don't come in first place. I don't come in first place. Let's just say I came in second or third. So I didn't win that race, but I ran my personal best. If I only measure my success in that race based on where I placed, I lose the celebration when I actually improved my performance. Because while I may not was faster than that person, I ran my personal best, which means I improved. That was personal progress. And when we're focused on that, we're focused on something that we can control. If we're focusing on someone else, we can't control that. We can't control their work ethics. We can't control their training. We can't control what it is they're doing to make themselves better in business and sports and politics and life and education, wherever it is. And the more you're focused on them, the more you lose sight of yourself. Right? And now you're trying to, catch up. You know, you're being a condiment again. No, we don't want to do that. But don't get me wrong. Look, I appreciate competition. In fact, I thrive on competition. But competition never really makes me want to be better than them. Competition makes me want to be my absolute best. And if my absolute best was not good enough to win that day, I'm fine with that. If I performed at my absolute best, that's going to just make me want to push more. It's like, hey, look, remember, it's not about how bad you want it. It's about your, it's not about how good you are. It's about how good you want to be. It's about how good you want to be. And if I want to be my absolute best, I'm not going to ever settle for my performance today or my performance yesterday. It's kind of easy to get relaxed if you had a good performance, right? If you do any professional sports, it don't matter that you won yesterday's game. You got to go out and win today's game against a totally different team. You can't go on the court and be like, hey, y'all know we beat such and such yesterday, right? Oh, what the heck that's going to mean? That don't mean nothing. that don't mean nothing. So it's not about, remember, number 2 is success is not about being better than them. It's about being better than I was yesterday, being better than you were yesterday, being better today than you were yesterday. We don't want to be putting our focus and our energy in any moment rubbernecking on somebody else's life and somebody else's performance, because I can't control their performance. If I'm going into a boxing match or I'm in a fight, look, they're going to have their skills, and I don't expect them to bring anything less than their A game, and I don't expect them to want to do anything less than knock me out and they want to win. So my way of winning is not trying to be better than that opponent. My way of winning is being my absolute best in that moment. And if my best is good enough, I'm going to win. And I don't even have to be better than that person to win. I can outthink them. I can outsmart. Remember Michael Jordan's latter years. He was better technically in his latter years than he was physically, because he started to lose some of the physical skills. He started to lose that fast first step. He started to lose some of the elevation. But his ability to outthink opponents still gave him that edge. Even though he started to lose that edge physically, he never lost that edge mentally. So in many cases in the latter years, was Jordan playing people that were physically stronger and faster? In other words, physically better than him in terms of raw energy and raw power because of youth or whatever else? Of course. But they could not, with their youth, bring the years of experience that he had to the game. Right? So listen, You can focus on what you want to focus on. But what I'm suggesting is, it's not about living your life every single day trying to be better than those around you. It's about being better than you were yesterday. All right. Number 3, success is not about how bad you want it. It's about your refusal to live without it, making it a must. Think about all the things you want that you don't have. Think about everything that's in your life. And here's what I'm going to propose to you. Whatever it is you have in your life, no matter what you may say about it, whether you like it or not, whatever it is you have in your life is what you have refused to live without. And it's the only reason why it's there. If you are obese, you can chat until a person's ears bleed about how much you want to lose weight. But if you ain't losing the weight, that means you're in the position where you want to lose weight. But you haven't reached a position where you refuse to live without having a certain level of physical fitness and vitality. There's a difference. People talk about what they want all day long. Yada, 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 chirp, 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 chirp. All you start to hear about people wants is womp, 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 womp. It's just noise. The talk to you till your ears bleed. I hear what your mouth is saying, but your body and your actions are telling me a whole different story. You understand what I'm saying? So success is not about how bad you want it. Oh, I want it so bad. Oh, I want to lose weight so bad. No, you don't. Why you ain't at the gym? Why you not disciplining your appetite? Why you keep making excuses? Why is every day a cheat day? Why you not taking control and doing what is necessary to get the nutrition under control and hit the gym? Because you have not reached a point where it's a must, and you refuse to live without that level of physical fitness and health. Period. Because you are the one that's in control. I am the one that's in control. Nobody can make me fat. Nobody can stuff GMO foods in my mouth. Nobody can make me eat processed foods. Nobody can keep me out of the gym. Look, you don't even have to have a gym membership to go outside and run up a hill. Do burpees, jumping jacks, push-ups, sit-ups, sprints. You don't need to have a gym membership. I need a gym membership. No, you don't. That's just another manufactured obstacle. Oh, I need to get me a gym membership. I need to get me some running shoes. No, you don't. Run barefooted. See, when you refuse to live without something, you're not looking at making excuses on why you're waiting, why you're delaying it, why you're pausing. In other words, why you're procrastinating and putting it off. Whatever it is you want in your life, whatever it is, what we have is what we tolerate. And what we have in our life right now, no matter what story we may have around it, we have it because at some level, we refuse to live without it. We refuse to live without the drama. We refuse to live without the credit card debt. We refuse to live without the hate. We refuse to live without whatever it is. It's something that we refuse to live without, because if we did not want it, guess what? These things don't come into our life and hijack us. If you don't like drama and somebody wants to bring it up, you don't let them come in and just hijack your mind and your emotions. You cut that thing off. You cut that thing off. Let me tell you something. When somebody wants to talk about somebody, here's how you shut the thing down. Because remember, when somebody wants to come to you about a story about somebody, you have to be a fool to not talk to the other person. Even the justice system knows that there's a prosecution and a defense. Even the scriptures say you are a fool if you only hear one side of the matter and you don't hear the other. Because remember, that person has an agenda. They're only going to tell you a story that fits their agenda. It only fits their agenda. Right? So here's the thing. If you refuse to live without that stuff and somebody wants to come to you and they're about to break it down on somebody, and you know, first of all, you know, especially if they had prior relationship, you know there's an agenda behind it. Here's how you shut that joint down. Let's call them. Whatever you're about to tell me, let's get that person on the phone so we can all hear it at the same time. Do you know how many people would not have that conversation with you? Because what they want to tell you in private, they will not tell that person in public to their face, especially if it's a lie. Hey, look, you can't expose the lie to the heat of the truth because it'll get burnt up. So they have to tell those lies in isolation. They have to whisper those lies in your ear. And they never want you to go and hear the other side of the story. That's why if somebody wants to come to you and tell you something about someone else and you know who that someone else is, and even if you don't, let's get that person on the phone right now while you tell me this, because I certainly want to hear what they got to say about what you're saying, because what you're about to tell me, I already know. It's only going to be what you want me to know. Because here's the thing, when somebody comes and tell you what someone else did, do you think they're going to tell you what they did? Come on, man, stop being stupid. But why am I telling you all of this? Because if there's certain things in your life in relationships that you say you don't like, shut that thing down. Shut it down. Cut people off. Cut the television off. Cut the music off. Cut the drama off, whatever it is. See, here's the thing. If you say you want to be drama free, you want to be this, you want to have this and that and the other, okay, I get it. That's what you want. But what you live and what you have shows what you refuse to live without. If you got a big gut, then you don't refuse to live without the big gut. Because, hey, listen, there's no mystery to how to get a flat stomach and have abs. There's no mystery to that. There's no mystery to how to go in and build up your body so that you're strong physically. It's not a mystery. It's not some ancient secret. You don't need another magazine. You don't need another book. You already know what to do. But the thing is you just want it. It's not a must. Because if it's a must, you're going to work your way into that gym. You are going to absolutely make sure that you are monitoring your nutrition, your macros, and what it is you're putting in your body and how you're working out. And you're going to be there. If there's certain things you want to do in business, you may want to have a successful business, but you don't if you're not willing to put in the work that's necessary to understand how you build that business or whatever it is. All right. So remember, number 3 is success is not about how bad you want it. It's about your refusal to live without it, making whatever that thing is a must. And here's the thing. Let me make sure this is clear. You can say you must have it, but whatever it is you're saying has to line up with what it is you're doing, because what it is you're doing tells the true story. What comes out of your mouth is what you want people to believe. That's it. If some fat dude is trying to sell me some health and fitness products and he telling me he been using this for 3-4 years and he's still fat, then bro, I got a problem with that. You got to come clean. Either you ain't a product of the product or your products don't work. I can understand somebody being a little overweight or a little chubby, and they still in the process of losing weight and this a year later, but don't tell me you still fat 2, 3, 4 years later. What's going on? Something ain't right. Something ain't adding up. It don't take that long to lose weight. All right? It don't take that long to start a business. Hey, I'm building a business. Well, dude, you've been building this business for 3 years when you ain't making rockets. You're not making airplanes. In fact, they can build rockets and airplanes faster than you getting your business going. What's the deal? You got to stop playing games. All right? You got to stop playing games. Number 4 is something that you've probably heard me say before, and I've posted it on Instagram and Twitter and LinkedIn and on Facebook. It's one of my things that I constantly keep to the forefront of my mind. And the bottom line is, success is not about things getting better. It's about you getting better and getting out of your own way. What I call improve and move, man. Improve and move. Improve yourself and move out of your own way and keep moving forward. It's not about things getting better. It's about you getting better and getting out of your own way. See, a lot of us, we tend to go through our life waiting for a lot of things around us to improve. We want the spouse to improve, the economy to improve, the boss to improve, whatever it is. We're waiting for other things to improve, when fact is, no matter what happens, whether it improves or not, that doesn't mean you're better. Just because things around you get better does not mean you're better. See, here's the thing. In every environment, we have a position of advantage or disadvantage. We have a position of strength or weakness. If we do not deliberately build and pick a position of advantage and strength, we will by default have a position of disadvantage and weakness. Positions of strength and advantage are built and decided. They are not there by default. And in every environment, things are changing. I said this before, and I'm going to say it again. There's an old saying that people believe in, that if you continue to do what you're doing, you're going to keep on getting what you got. I'm sure you heard that before. And a lot of people believe that. It's one of the biggest, quote unquote, motivational lies that has ever been told, because that is to suggest that if you do nothing, you don't change, you don't improve, and you just continue to do what you're doing, you're going to continue to get what it is you got. That is to say nothing else around you changes, and that you are the center of everything. Because as long as you don't change, everything else is going to remain the same, and you're going to be okay. Whatever the level you're at, that's where you're going to remain. No, that's not true. How many people lose jobs because the economy changes? How many people lose jobs because politics change and somebody new goes into office? Right? A lot of different things will put pressure on your life that if you do not change, it will get worse for you. It will get worse. So this whole change process is something that we are all participants in, whether we like it or not. So here's the thing that's constant. Things around us are going to be changing. Whether they're getting better or not, really, let me tell you something, that's really perspective. Because if you think about the stock market, people are like, man, the stock market, oh, it's a bear market, man. I wish the stocks go up so they can make money. Dude, hey, listen, how many people lose money when stocks are running? When they're running, like recently, stock, and until like now where, the market's pulling back. But, for the last few years, the market has been on this ridiculous bull run. People still losing money. What story can they say about the stock market improving so they can make money? Let me tell you what it is. Let me give you the key to this right here, okay? I'm gonna give you the key. You can't control what's going on in the environment, but you can choose your position in the environment. See, as simple as trading stocks is, and I'm going to oversimplify it. I know there's a little bit more to it, but I'm going to oversimplify it. Stocks can only do one of two things, one of three things, really. Go up, go down, or go sideways, right? And you can only have one of three choices: buy, sell, or stay out. Do nothing. So what is the deciding factor on if a person is going to lose or win? What position they pick relative to the direction of the market. Now, that's an oversimplification. I know there's all kinds of technicals and fundamentals that help you to decide what position you're making. In other words, your decision-making ability relative to the information. But in this most simplistic form, you winning or losing in stocks all comes down to the decision that you made on what position you're going to pick. See, it's raining outside. You can't control the rain. But you can control if you get wet. You can do one or two things: stay inside or get an umbrella. That's your position. I'm staying in. Or my position is I got an umbrella. Right? We can't control the weather. Well, we can't, but we do know there's weather control out there. Hey, no conspiracy theories here, but that's fact. All right? So why are we going to complain about stuff that we can't control? Oh, man, I wish this thing, I want this to get better. I want that to get better. And then what? How many things have gotten better and your life hasn't improved? I know a lot of things in my life a long time ago got better and my life didn't improve. So I'm like, well, hey, look, all this stuff is getting better. What's going on with me? Because I'm not getting better. I'm not getting better. I'm focused on the wrong thing. I'm waiting for all these things around me to get better, that once they do, what am I going to do about it? I'm not getting better. See, a lot of us, we live our lives the way we watch sports, if you know what I mean. Think about the people that they are absolutely fanatical about their team. They celebrate like they won the game. The energy they put into it. They're not getting paid. The win does not do anything for their life. They don't get a ring. They don't get a trophy. None of that stuff goes to them. But the amount of focus and energy they put into rooting their teams on, and being crushed when they lose, or going bananas or nuts when they win. It's pretty much how a lot of people live their lives, looking at other people. Just looking at other people, living life as spectators and not having that energy for our own life. When was the last time you had a win and you gave yourself that type of celebration? When was the last time you cheerleaded yourself like that? When was the last time you invested the time, energy, and money and focus into your own deal, your own business, your own relationships, or whatever it is you're working on, your own weight loss, or whatever it is? That level of intensity, that level of commitment that you do for a game on television or going to a live arena to watch a game. Many of us would tend to give more energy, more support to people that don't even know you exist, and a competition that you're a spectator to, where you have no skin in the game, whether they win or lose, other than your emotion. And it's a very real, intense emotion. But we don't have that level of intensity and emotion for ourselves. We don't root ourselves on like that. Now, isn't that a shame? These strangers being paid mega bucks that don't even know you exist, you give more energy and more support to than you do for your own self or the people around you. Shame on us. Shame on us. Number 5, success is not about having less stress. It's about having more peace. A pathway to that is meditation. See, a lot of people, we want to try to control stressors and distractions. Think about this. Whether it's stress or distractions, right? Do you really control those things? No, the thing that you can control is your own centeredness and peace and focus. If we're trying to control all these things in an environment that can stress us, or all these things that can pop up and distract us, we're trying to control some of the things that are literally in the column of uncontrollables. But the thing that we can actually control is I can control my own level of focus intensity. I can control what I let take me off course and not. I can control what I allow to distract me or not. I can control my own level of peace. Right? I can control, hey, there can be storms raging on the outside. I don't have to let those storms rage on the inside. I can control what I let get into me. See, guess what? The moment you know you can do that, it's kind of like an athlete, like a basketball player going to the free throw line and literally everything is on the line. He can let that moment stress him out, or he can go inwardly and be at peace and not allow the moment to stress him out. He can't control that moment in the game. It's on the line. Look, the clock has run out, but there was a foul. The game is tied, and this is going to win it, and it's for the championship. This is win or go home time. There is no other game. There's not a game 8. This is game 7 of the championship. This is it, man. This is it. These are the last 2 shots. Make one of them, and you win. Just one of the 2. Now, that can be high pressure. That can be very stressful. And you know, if you're playing in the opponent's arena, they're doing everything they can to distract you. The noise, and they're waving all kinds of things behind the backboard. What are you going to do? Are you going to say, hey, can y'all chill out for a minute? Calm down. Hey, time out. Hey, ref, can you make them stop making all this noise? Can you make them stop waving these things behind the backboard that's kind of distracting me? No, you can't control that. What you can control is what you're going to focus on in that moment. And you can literally make all of that noise disappear. You can literally become so laser focused that you don't even see the distractions behind the backboard. That's what you can control. That's what you can control. And then some people, they thrive on the stress. They thrive on those pressure moments, not because they like pressure in the sense of the pain that pressure can bring, but it brings out the best of them, that challenge. That's when you really have to start honing everything. Some people, they run from that pressure. They want it to be easy. They want it to be easy. Oh, gosh. Please, it ain't going to ever be easy. Forget about it. If you're expecting it to be easy, man, you're going to be waiting for a long time, a very long time. So it's not about having less stress. It's about having more peace. What can you do to control your own peace? Well, meditation is one. And I'm not talking about weird type of meditation. It could be something as simple as meditating on the scriptures. We know that the scriptures talks about meditation, but we're not talking about weird type of meditation. Again, it could be something as simple as quieting your mind, looking at a flickering flame and just letting the thoughts pass by and just controlling your breath and controlling your focus, because your mind's going to always run wild, right? The monkey mind, that mind be everywhere, don't it? But you don't have to chase it. You don't have to chase every single thought that comes to your mind. You don't have to chase every emotion that tries to swirl into your body like a whirlwind. That's when you know your level of control. Remember, I said in a previous podcast that if I had a bottle of spray and this said it was strawberry potpourri, it's strawberry potpourri, and you're about to spray it because, hey, you would like to have the smell of strawberries in your environment. But when you put pressure on the top, red spray paint comes out. What is it? It's red spray paint. I don't care what the label says. It does not matter that it says it is strawberry potpourri. The moment I spray it, it is red spray paint. What does that mean? When the pressure is on, what is truly on the inside comes on the outside. That's what reveals who you really are. People can always pretend to be a certain way when there's no pressure. But you put the pressure on the top. You put the pressure on the top of any can. What is really on the inside comes out. And it's the same thing with life. When that pressure is on, we are truly revealing who we are in the moment and how we handle that. Now, look, if you don't like what shows up, that's cool. Be honest with yourself. Don't excuse it. Do something about it. Say, hey, look, I don't like how I responded to that pressure. I don't like how I responded to that stress. I don't like how I responded to whatever that was. I got intimidated and I shouldn't have. I became fearful and I shouldn't have. I backed down and I shouldn't have. I got distracted and I shouldn't have. Whatever it is, and then course correct. Right? It's all about course correction. It's not about having a perfect straight line the entire time. And if I remember correctly, a plane is off course, 80, 90% of the time. It's always correcting itself to get to its destination. Something to that effect. The same thing with us. It's never going to be a straight line. Even a bull market in stocks is just not one line going up. It's up, down, up, down, up, down. And in fact, depending on what chart you look at, you can look at an intraday chart and think it's a bear market. The market is collapsing. But then you go and look at a monthly or a yearly chart, it's like, man, the market is going up, 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 uppity, 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 up. So it just depends. It's all about perspective, right? It's about perspective. So stop trying to make the stress go away. Yeah, because stress is bad. Yeah, can stress damage your health? Absolutely. But what is stress? Stress is not what's going on externally. It's how we're responding to that external stimuli or stimulus, however you want to say it. When we are stressed, nobody threw stress. Somebody come past and they sneeze on you. Oh man, I just caused some stress. That's not how you get stress. Stress is a personal response decision in how we respond to pressure, how we respond to what's going on in our environment. We can choose to not be stressed over something that stresses somebody else. It may not necessarily be easy, but guess how you get better at it? Remember I talked about one of the things that really help you, exposure therapy. Expose yourself to more stressful events and you start to adapt to it. Think about it. When you go and you're building your body with weights, you're stressing your muscle. In that moment, you're literally breaking down your muscles. Your muscles get stronger and better when they're being repaired, not when you're in the gym. In the gym, you're stressing them and breaking them down. But when your body starts to adapt to a certain weight, a certain squat, a certain bench press, a certain curl, that no longer stresses the muscle because it has been exposed to it long enough that it has adapted to that. So now you have to increase the weight to add more stress to get the muscle to grow bigger or grow stronger. The only way we get stronger is to constantly expose ourselves to certain elements. But unfortunately, most people try to run from the very things that are going to improve them and make them better people. I don't want any stress. Dude, then you're not looking to be great. I don't want the pressure. Then you're not looking to be extraordinary. There is no greatness. There is no extraordinary unless you're willing to bear the burden of stress and bear the burden of pressure. It's a package deal. It's a package deal. Stop running from it. Stop trying to find, how do I do this stress-free? You can't. How do I do this without the pressure? Do you think athletes aren't under pressure every single time they go out there? Absolutely. Every single time. But it's par for the course. There's no such thing as playing competitive sports or being in a boxing match one-on-one. The dude is trying to knock your head off or snap your arm in an arm bar or whatever the deal is. Kick your knee out of socket or whatever. That's pressure. But you have to understand I need that to perform. And you go into that pressure situation knowing, do you think people that go into war, combat, don't understand what the stress and pressure? right? And that's intense. And sometimes that's you just like they can't escape that, right? Was it PTSD? Right? I mean, look, that's some serious stuff. But most of us have not been exposed to that level of stress. And I want you to consider soldiers of whatever countries that go back with PTSD, a very serious condition. Think about the soldiers of old. They weren't snipers in the hills. They weren't using tanks. They were belly to belly on the battlefield with swords, looking at people eye to eye, knowing that at any moment they can be cut down, having to cut a person down and guts are everywhere. Think about that level of warfare. Do you think they didn't have to, look, man, do you think that's not pressure or stress? Of course. But it also lets you know how we are built, although we are mortal, how we are built and the level of stress and pressure that we can deal with and what we can rise to is extraordinary. But many of us will never, ever know what we can truly experience in life because we run from everything. We run. We run from way too many things that are there. We think they're there to kill us and destroy us. No, man, those things are there to actually build you up. You say you want something in life. You say, hey, I want to have a successful business. You think it's going to show up with it's going to be delivered as a beautiful blueprint. Some floaty butterfly is going to bring it to your doorstep. It's like, here, your wish is my command. Here, now go tiptoe through the tulips and enjoy your beautiful business. No, you say you want to have a business and it shows up with a flak jacket. It shows up with army boots. It shows up with the helmet. It shows up with war gear saying, time to go battle for it. See, many of us, we just want it delivered, man. That we don't, because we don't understand fight. We're so easily offended. We're so soft. We got these spaghetti spines. I mean, it's ridiculous. Yeah, look, man, we've become so soft as a society of people, and especially men, that is ridiculous. We have to get back that alpha mentality. We have to get back that strength. We have to get back that, look, it's going to hurt, but so what? I'm going for it. We have to constantly put ourselves in position to grow and to expand. And one of the best ways to do that is to enforce on yourself going and working out. Shame on the dude whose arms looks like a woman. And that's not a shot at a woman, because a woman doesn't necessarily have to be all muscle bound. She could be toned. There's nothing wrong with that. And look, if she's into bodybuilding, good for her. But what I'm saying is when a guy shows you his arms and he ain't got a bicep, he looking like a chick. He looking like a woman. Shame on that dude. Now, some of y'all may not agree. That's your business. But I think a man should look like a man. I think a man should have the ability to take care of himself physically. You can't pull yourself up on a pull-up, dude. You got some work to do. And look, it's not just about the physical power. It's the mindset that is developed when you're building the physical power that's important. Look, the physical power comes in handy. You can use that. But the shift that happens physically, spiritually, and mentally is something that unless you do it, I ain't talking about this aerobics. Screw your aerobics. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about hardcore putting your body through the grinder. You become a totally different person, man and woman. You become a totally different person because the level of stress that you will have to deal with, the level of resistance, you wanting to avoid the pain and the discomfort, pushing through that develops a mindset you won't get any other way. Forget your 30-minute walking on a treadmill. You're not building nothing from that. Hey, but don't get me wrong. It's a good start. If you're working your way to the intensity of working out, don't get me wrong. Hey, that's a good start. If that's where you got to start, you start there. But you need to find a way to get yourself in the position where you are constantly dealing with self-inflicted stress so you can develop the neural pathways to deal with it and not run from it. All right, I'm going to drop two more on you real quick. Number 6, success is not about having less bills. It's about having more money. It's about increasing your income. Now, I know that may sound a little strange, but let me help you out here. See, if your mindset is, I don't want any bills, you got to understand that you're putting yourself in a really bad psychological position to build wealth. Because If you're running ads on Facebook, you're going to have a really big Facebook, a big Facebook bill. It's going to be a bill. You ain't going to run no ads for free on Facebook or pre-rolls on YouTube or Google AdWords. They ain't giving it to you for free. You're going to have to bill up for that. You're going to have to drop some dollars to run those ads. But guess what? It's a totally different conversation, but some people, they so afraid they won't even bet on themselves in that way because they don't want. They play not to lose. They ain't trying to play to win. How do you know a person's playing not to lose? They ain't trying to drop the money on the ads because guess what? The moment you start running ads, you're behind from the very beginning. You are behind from the very beginning the moment you start running ads because you don't know what your conversions are yet. You have no idea from interest, and specifically with Facebook, what interest groups, what messaging, what price points. You have no idea. You have to work all that out, and it costs you money to work that out. It's an investment. But some people are so afraid of losing, they don't make that bet. Shame on them. You want to be big in real estate. You want to own a whole bunch of real estate, but you don't want to have any bill. Hey, look, man, if you're looking to acquire properties, you want to be acquiring debt too. See, not all bills are bad bills. But if your mindset is you don't want to have any bills, you're chasing the wrong thing. You want to have the right bills. You want to have the right kind of debt. Because not all debt is equal and not all debt is bad debt. Now there's dumb debt. Don't get me wrong, there is dumb debt. When you going out there, and it's amazing, people will drop money on dumb stuff. Stuff that has no appreciative value. Belts, watches, flossing for who? You trying to bling for who? See, that's ego spending. People would take their money and invest it in their ego and not invest it in something that's going to be meaningful like advertising for a business. They prefer to drop it in something that makes them look successful as opposed to investing it into something that will actually help them be successful. So they want to look a certain way, get the watch, the shoes, the suits, the cars, or whatever. But there is no business acumen or no sustainable system behind them to keep that up. They haven't developed the skills to convert cold traffic. They haven't developed the copywriting skills to persuade people on a sales letter or a video sales letter. They haven't developed the speaking skills to speak and mobilize people. They haven't, whatever the skill set is marketing wise, they haven't developed that. They haven't developed the skill. But they drop the money on dumb stuff. Instead of investing in the real skills. I know it's corny and it's old, but the skills that pay the bills. Right? I mean, hey, look, man, it is what it is. I'm gonna drop one more on you real quick. Success is not about doing less ourselves. It's about giving more of ourselves. It's about the commitment. I mean, it's funny how, people want to retire. They want to try to do less. Entrepreneurship and running your own business and being quote unquote successful is hardly packaged with doing less. Now, you may do less tactical things, but you're still going to be doing more work because if you have other people doing stuff for you, hey, look, you're managing that entire process. You're setting the course. You're setting the vision. You're putting together the systems, the structures, the processes, the matrix, and all these different things that's driving the performance of all the people that you're going to have working for you or that do work for you. It's not going to be less work. So the whole thing is if we have a mindset of trying to escape work, looking to do less, it's a trap because it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. It doesn't. I know you're probably like, hey, Tim Ferriss wrote the 4-Hour Work Week. Hey, I liked him. Tim came to a party of mine way back. Here we had here at the house. Cool dude. Book is great, but he knows that it's not necessarily about you just working 4 hours a week and that's it and you're done. See, we kind of have to get out of this mindset of how can I do the least possible, especially in the beginning. People don't want to work. It's amazing. It's like if they work, they're going to spontaneously combust and die. Like they're going to get hives if they work. That's why people, here we go again. They want to have a successful business, but because they don't want to put the work in, they don't have it. There's no escaping the work, ladies and gentlemen. And I know you know that intellectually. It's obvious intellectually that it takes work. But physically, people don't get it. Because you could tell by how they show up. They know, I know it's going to take work. I know it's going to do this, that, and the other. But they don't show up and put the work in. What they do is they show up and put their mouth in. Blah, 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 again, running their mouth. I said it before. Most entrepreneurs are too busy running their mouth. They ain't running a business. Dealt with a bunch of them. And you all know my background. You know I've spoken over 1,500 times to over 2 million people, over 2,100 countries. In my own personal workshops, I've had over 100,000 people go through my own personal workshops. I've dealt with a lot of entrepreneurs, and I can tell you right now, it's a great disappointment. I love entrepreneurship. I love those that have that idea of entrepreneurship, but it's a very big disappointment when you see what the true mindset is amongst the majority of entrepreneurs. It's like I don't get it. It's very disappointing. Very disappointing. And you guys out there that listening to this, that train, you know what I'm talking about. There is a percentage of people that lock in and they absolutely get it. You don't give that to them. They come in with that. They get it. And then there's those, man, they just don't get it. They just don't get what it's going to actually take to build whatever it is they want to build. So they end up hopping from one thing to the next thing, being very flighty, looking for the easy thing, looking for the less stress thing, looking for the less pressure thing, looking for, that quote unquote button. Hey, look, man, the button don't exist. I'm gonna tell you right now, it don't exist. It exists in copy and in fantasy. And what I mean by that is it exists in the sales pitch. It does not exist in reality. There ain't no push button, nothing that's going to help you to, other than my optimization audios. You can push a button and help build your brain. That is but that's different. I'm not, that's not you working and building a business. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I want to wrap this thing up. Hope you enjoyed today's show. Those are some quick ways that you can get ahead if you're falling behind. And if you notice, the one thing they all have in common is shifting your mind.
Thanks for listening to the Success Sculpting Show with Stephen Pierce. If you like what you just heard, we hope you'll pass along our web address, successsculptingshow.com, to your friends and colleagues. Be sure to check out our archives of previous podcasts and check the schedule to join us for our next live streaming Success Sculpting Show webcast. This has been a Success Sculpting Incorporated production. Join us next time for another edition of the Success Sculpting Show with Stephen Pierce, and tell your friends.